What up, Internet? Who ye be and where you at? What you see across the seven seas? This be Pop Cult Parent, the podcast where a dead man tell no tales. Yarr! I be one of your hosts, Mark M.F. Jones, and avast, I be joined by the best crew the seven seas has to offer, this salty sea dog. Gentlemen, please introduce yourselves. Yarr!
I knew it was coming. Shannon, I knew it was coming. And I still wasn't ready for it.
I knew it was coming. I just don't think I knew it was going to be that good. It was great.
This is Niels RY, a.k.a. This is the day you will always remember as the day you almost caught gingivitis.
And this is Shannon, a.k.a. the Commandeering Commodore.
And if you haven't noticed, we be talking about Pirates of the Caribbean, The Curse of the Black Pearl. The movie turns 20 years old this year. Yarr! So we gathered up the best crew in the seven seas, commandeered a ship, and took heed to the compass to find the treasure that is this podcast. Nels, tell us a little history about Pirates of the Caribbean.
Wow. Okay. Okay, I'm sorry, y'all. I'm here. So, as should I call you Mark? What is?
No, man, I can't. My vocal cord, if my vocal cords had the strength, the whole episode would be that.
Oh my goodness, I'm impressed. So, as
like
Mark
I've been gargling glass.
That's
those pirates do it back then. Damn,
it's impressive. So, as Mark shared, we're celebrating the 20th anniversary of Pirates of the Caribbean, The Curse of the Black Pearl. This movie is 20 years old. This movie stars some, it's a Jerry Bruckheimer film. So shout out to Jerry Bruckheimer. It's
definitely a Jerry joint. We'll get into that. It is a Jerry
Please
joint.
Believe. So this stars Johnny Depp, Keira Knightley, Orlando Bloom, and Jeffrey Rush. I'm sure we'll talk about their performances throughout the episode, but it stars them. And I just got to say, y'all, 2003 was a crazy year for movies. So Pirates of the Caribbean made $654 million. Like, vastly better than anyone ever expected. Like, I don't know if y'all remember 2003, but like, folks were like making fun of this movie. Nobody thought it was going to be good. At this point, everybody was like, why is Disney trying to make a movie out of like one of their rides? Mark, you shared you like did the ride before. I want to hear about it, but like just to like give some context, folks weren't really checking for this movie when it came out, and it turns out it made $654 million, and it was the fourth highest earned movie that year. Usually, $654 million, you're number one, but in 2003, it was number 4. So it's only behind Lord of the Rings: Return of the King.
Oh man,
Finding Nemo. And The Matrix Reloaded.
Good Lord.
Yes. Yes. And it still made $654
uphill
million.
battle if there ever was one. Good God.
So yeah, that's a little bit about Pirates of the Caribbean. Mark, real quick before, because I want to hear if you all have some interesting facts. But Mark, as someone who has actually ridden the ride Pirates of the Caribbean, can you give us a little bit of insight on just like your impression of the ride and how it turned into a $1 billion movie franchise?
I mean, like, I was really young, man. I was probably like 8 years old. So I don't remember much, but like if you would have asked me then, does this ride warrant a blockbuster, Jerry Bruckheimer produced blockbuster? I would, no. It's a theme park ride. It's like Chuck E. Cheese mannequins, but they're pirates. They're chasing women. They're drinking. They're shooting. They're hooting, hollering, and it's one of those rides. It's famous because it's old. I feel like it's like one of the first kind of rides that were ever at Disney, and back in the 40s and 50s, it was just. Oh, mechanical people. Oh, wow. Sharon, look at that. It's mechanical
a small
people.
World.
Yeah, Exactly. It's like people were just like amazed that like what they were seeing. But I feel like now it's popular just because it's what's the word I'm looking for? Not it's legend, but it's
Legend.
I got a reputation. So yeah, like I was surprised when I heard that this was being made into a movie, but I'll tell you what, we'll get into it. This movie snuck up on me. Fellas, I don't remember seeing one trailer to this movie. I don't remember seeing a trailer. I don't remember it being like seeing the poster. I saw this movie for the first time on DVD. I don't remember any marketing about this movie whatsoever.
Well, I'll say this. I did see a trailer, and I'm ashamed to admit this, but whatever, it's on wax. I saw Johnny Depp dressed up, and I was like, this is going to be bad. I was like, yo, he's so over the top. Like, I cannot believe they're trying to make a serious action pirate movie. And like, we'll get into this, y'all, but like, nobody was checking for pirates. Like,
Nah.
the like, I think the only pirate thing I remember before this, besides Treasure Island, was Hook. And
yeah,
shout out to Hook.
And the ship in the Goonies. Like, that's
and
it.
The ship in the Goonies. That's all we had. So like, I wasn't really checking for pirates. You know, in the world of pirates versus ninjas, I am team ninja. So like I wasn't checking for this. So yeah, I will admit I saw the trailer and I thought it wasn't gonna be good. I did see this in theaters. I was wrong, as we all know. But yeah, at the time I was like, nah, this ain't gonna be good.
Yeah, similar. It was like, yeah, they're pirates and they're on the sea. Like, they're not pirates in space. Pirates in space, sign me up in the outer space. But yeah, I don't really remember any, I guess, the marketing or even really even how I first saw it. But it's one of those things where at some point I saw it and I was like, oh, this is a classic. This is good. And, you know, rewatching it recently, I was like, oh no, this is, obviously we all know it's a classic, but I was like, oh, I forgot about all these parts. Like, this is good. This is really good. So yeah.
So folks, before we jump in, any interesting facts about Pirates of the Caribbean?
The only one that I got that blew my mind when I heard about it, Johnny Depp was nominated for an Oscar for this performance.
What? Really?
Yeah.
How did I miss that?
Yeah, dog. He was nominated for an Oscar. And at first it hits you like, what? But when you sit back and you think about the performance in this movie and like the dedication and nuance of his character, it starts to make sense. I'm not saying like it should have happened, but it's one of those like, okay, I see how we got there.
Yeah. I mean, yes. Well, so if we could talk a little bit about Johnny Depp and Captain Jack Sparrow, like a couple of things that I guess could be considered a fun fact. One is like Johnny Depp very much so like he did the work to determine how to play Captain Jack Sparrow. And one of the things he heard that he like stuck with was pirates were the rock stars of their time. So he heard that and he was like, huh, if I want to be a rock star, what rock star will I want to be like? And he picked Keith Richards. So he is essentially Keith Richards. We're seeing him act like Keith Richards, and like, yeah, that's pretty dope. And so he does that. And I'll say the one thing that him and Jeffrey Rush do that I don't think anyone has ever done, they made pirates cool. Like
they did.
Mm-hmm.
They did.
I was like, yo, I want to be a pirate. That's like the only time I've ever said it, and that's the only time I probably ever will say it.
Once you start watching One Piece, you'll say it again.
Yeah, I knew that was coming. I knew One Piece was coming up here. So it should perform. I didn't know when you were going to bring it up, but I knew it was coming.
Mark that on your things that Mark says bingo during the podcast.
I knew it was coming. That being said, like, yeah, like Johnny Depp, Captain Jack Sparrow, cool. He's cool.
Yeah.
And Jeffrey Rush, I don't like. I'll say this about both of them. These are probably my favorite characters that either of them have ever played. And Jeffrey Rush, you know, the man is he's a legendary actor.
He's a legend.
He does, timepieces like, like those old school movies and stuff like that. But the man's a phenomenal actor. And Johnny Depp has played probably your favorite character in some way, shape, or form in this genre. But like this movie, these two characters, Barbossa and Captain Jack Sparrow, are probably my favorite characters they've ever played.
I've never thought about that, but I'm gonna agree with you. Definitely. Barbossa, man, that like Jack Sparrow's cool, but like you said, Nels, he's playing the Keith Richards. He's got an angle to his performance, but Jeffrey Rush is like, that is a pirate. That's a pirate. That is a pirate.
That is like pirate captain. Yes.
Yeah.
There's no,
I believe it.
Yeah, there's no mess about it. He looks like a pirate. He talks like a pirate. That is a pirate.
Bruh, he made a speech to his people. I almost got up. It was like, "Yar,
yar, good captain, yar.
Let's get him." Yes, inspirational speech.
Yo, the only other kind of like fun fact I have going into this. So I got really into these first three movies, man. I bought these on Blu-ray. I missed this one, but the other two definitely saw them in the movie theater. And so, doing like Wikipedia searches and all that stuff back in the day, I read some funny stuff about pirates, and apparently pirate crews were very democratic. They were like very diverse, and I don't want to say like exactly welcoming, but like they were very diverse. A lot of like, I heard like a lot of free slaves were pirates. They voted on who they wanted their captain to be. So I was like, man, look at pirates. Look at pirates setting the way.
So it sounds like did the Black Pearl run like more democratically and smoother than like a number of states in the US? It sounds like.
Yeah, it's sad when there's no January 6s on pirate ships, or you would expect a January 6th to happen. Yar, stop the steal. Yar.
They respect the
Not
vote.
me, Captain. Not my Captain.
Oh God. Oh man. Yes.
I could totally see Trump on a boat. Not even like a ship, but an old like boat with like his, all right, crew, let's go get him. Yar, Captain Trump.
People are saying this is the fastest boat. Many people are saying it.
Shooting cannonballs like at the Capitol, like old school.
They say I don't deserve it, but I do deserve it. We're gonna go over there. We're gonna take it over. We're gonna pillage. We're going to raid, and we're going to take what is ours because we are the best crew on the planet. Yes,
Hey,
he is absolutely a pirate captain. Yes.
I'm not trying to pull sensitivity, but you take everyone in January 6th and you put them in traditional pirate wear, different experience. Yar, where be Pelosi?
Dramatically different experience. Dramatically different experience.
Where be that yellow belly Mike Pence? Where he
From
be?
Vikings to pirates? I don't know.
Yeah,
We're approaching January 6th differently.
Speaking of, since we are like melting these two worlds together, did you all see? This was like maybe a few weeks ago, maybe months ago, but it was this thing on the news where they were like, a pirate ship has come into Florida and it is like taking over, and it was like this whole thing.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, and it seemed so real. I was like, wait, no, this is happening for real. And they were like, this is really happening. And I was like, what? And it turns out like I think it was like part of something that they do yearly.
I know what it is because I lived in Tampa.
Yeah, it was in Tampa Bay.
I think it's called Gasparilla. I forget what it is, but it's basically it's like Mardi Gras with pirates.
Yeah.
So like there's like parade floats and everyone's dressed like a pirate and they're throwing beads. I forgot. I don't know what the history of it was, but it definitely, when I lived in Tampa, it happened every year, and it was great. It was a great experience, man.
Yeah.
And no, it was pirates at Mardi Gras. Yeah. Show me. What you be working with, young lass? Here are your beads.
and that's what I'm saying. The way the news was like, the actual news channel was showing it, they really were being like, Florida, Tampa Bay is being taken over, like pirates raiding or whatever. And I was like, bruh, what's going on? It was like, we had January 6th, we got pirates taking over Florida. What
do you mean there's a 2-drink minimum?
Shannon, if you picked any other state, I'd be like, oh, I'm sure there's some rational explanation. The fact you said Florida, I believed it. I was like, there is a pirate ship taking over one of our states because it's Florida. And it probably would have been the residents of Florida itself. Funny. Okay. Any other facts before I turn it over to you, Mark?
The last one, I was looking at the cast, and apparently the guy who played Kano in Mortal Kombat, the first one, he's one of the Black Pearl pirates.
Word.
That actually makes a lot of sense. If I'm looking at Mortal Kombat, and if there's anybody, I'm like, you know what? We're recruiting some pirates.
Kano.
Definitely Kano.
Yeah.
Absolutely Kano. Yes. That makes a lot of sense.
But no, that's all the fun facts I got.
Well, speaking of cast, there is one more that I should talk about cast wise, and then Shannon, I'll turn it over to you.
Got you.
So we'll eventually talk about the Black Pearl crew, the future, like from the Inceptor to the Black Pearl crew, and that is one Zoe Saldana.
Oh yeah, bruh! Every time I watch this movie, I forget she's in it. Every single time, I'm like, is that Zoe Saldana? Like every time I watch this movie.
And yes, in case you're counting, this is another one of the billion-dollar franchises
that she touched,
that Zoe Saldana is a part of.
Graced her presence,
Yeah. Just in case you were wondering, yes, that is her. And yes, Disney, I just know Disney's like, yo, we really want to make some money on this franchise. What's Zoe doing? Let's just hit her up. That's their good luck charm.
And I mean,
legit their good luck charm.
If you do the math, did she leave this to do Avatar?
Probably.
Yeah.
Do the math.
They're like, oh yeah, go do your stupid cat movie. Never come back to Disney. Like, little did they know.
Even though she literally she did that in Disney. Avatar is Disney. Oh, that's sweet Disney money. Anyway, Shannon, sorry.
No, but just mentioning her really quick. You know how they all had the thing, it was what, like 6 degrees or 3 degrees or whatever separation from Kevin Bacon.
6 degrees of Kevin Bacon.
Yeah, 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon. I feel like they're like somebody's gonna follow the money in the US and find out like somehow she has something to do with half of the United States GDP or what. Yes. Like somehow she has something to do with at least half of it.
It's like how like
1%. She's Zoe Saldana is the 1%.
It's like all these companies, like everything in the US is owned by like 5 companies.
Yeah.
All the movies, they just all have ties. That's hilarious.
So random sort of interesting fact as well. And I know many of our listeners know this because everyone has seen this movie. You guessed it. The straight to DVD, straight to VHS classic, Lion King 2, Simba's Pride. The music, if you listen to the music in the Lion King 2, Simba's Pride and Pirates of the Caribbean, they are identical. Like the whole
way.
Theme,
Listen
to it. And so what happens is, this is why I was trying to look this up because I caught it because shout out to Luke, my oldest son. He's been loving the Lion King, and he's been watching the Lion King 2 like, I don't know, just almost every other day. And so my wife,
good use of time.
Yeah, great use of time. he goes for the the more slept on classics as opposed to the original Lion King, the Lion King 2.
What a hipster.
Yeah. And so
I don't watch the Lion King. I'm watching Simba's Pride.
And so my wife, who is a big fan of Pirates of the Caribbean, she was like, wait, this music sounds exactly the same. And so she actually put me on it. So I started Googling it and everything.
Wow.
And so, yeah. And so what has happened is Now, from my quick little search and everything, it doesn't look like it's not like, okay, this person who did the Pirates music did the Lion King 2 music. And also to say that the Lion King 2 came out first. It came out in 98, if I'm not mistaken. This came out in 03. But something they're saying is, I believe one of the composers did a lot of different like Disney music, and you know, they have people who just make music for Disney movies, and it's just random music or whatever. And I think because they were like, I like this, they just took some of the music from that and just put it into Pirates. And obviously Pirates ended up being much bigger. So yeah, much of the music in The Lion King 2, Simba's Pride, and Pirates of the Caribbean are they're the same. Yeah. That's my interesting fact there.
Rocking my world there, Shannon. You rocked my world. That's wild, yo.
I just can't wait to like rewatch Pirates of the Caribbean and a zebra comes out of nowhere. Deception, disgrace. I've never noticed that zebra in Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah. But you know, like truly the like this stuff with the composer and the theme and stuff. So obviously that would be great if they did have the Deception song in Pirates of the Caribbean.
That's gonna be stuck in my head now.
This
Oh my
goodness. Oh man. But fellas, should we get into this movie?
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm.
All right, man. So, you know, with the go back, we kind of run through the movie, kind of scene by scene. We might skip some stuff, but we just talk about the highlights. But so the movie opens at sea on a boat, and we see Elizabeth Swann as a young little girl on the ship singing a pirate song. Hey, yo, fellas, I didn't remember this, but I laughed so hard where Gibbs, who's like Jack Sparrow's first mate, he definitely Dumbledore's like, "Did you put your name in the goblet of fire?" He grabs his, he's like, "What are you doing singing about pirates?" and then the guy's like, he's like, "Mr. Gibbs, calm down." He's like, "She was singing about pirates, sir." Like,
you know why, Mark? Because he wants to stay alive. That's why. he don't care about this little girl.
But now
he's trying to stay alive. There are pirates in this world, Mark.
But I don't think it works that way. Exactly. Like, I'm pretty sure no one wants a home invader. But just because you sing a song about a home invader doesn't
look, Mark. Look, I understand, and I might be foreshadowing a little bit, but this same world has a guy named Jamie Jones whose face is made out of octopus and squid, who controls a giant squid monster called the Kraken. And there is a lady named Calypso who literally manages the craziness of the sea. If the man doesn't want that little girl to sing about pirates, there's a good reason for it. All right? I'm just saying. I want to just put that out there on the table.
I'm sorry. I thought he was gonna like shoot her in the face. Like, shut up. Sing about pirates. But I guess you're right, Nils, because apparently pirates attacked the ship.
She was singing about pirates.
Yeah, because she was singing about pirates, and they heard her. They come across a ship that's been attacked, and they find little William Turner, the young Orlando Bloom, and I'm just amazed that Elizabeth, she's like, "What's your name, little boy? Oh, you're a pirate." She steals his gold. She takes his gold.
Yeah, it's very Goldilocks of her.
Yo, I was like, man, the white privilege.
White privilege.
She's like, you won't be needing this where you're going, little boy. She just tucks it away. And then
keeps it for like 8 years. How dare you? This man, he ain't got a penny to his name. You out here being the governor's daughter. You steal his only belonging and don't give it to him for 8 years? Trash. And then trash.
I love. Let me reallocate these resources to me.
They have a discussion later in the movie. He's like, "Oh, my medallion." She's like, "Yes, I took it because I didn't want them to know you were a pirate." I'm like, okay, that was 10 years ago. What were you doing in the meantime? Dog, when she picks it up to wear it, that's how the whole movie like starts. It's like covered in dust. It's not. It's like covered. So like, what were you planning to give this back? But anyway,
on her wedding day.
Yeah. So they rescue Will, and they see the ship has been attacked, and Elizabeth gets a glance of a mysterious ship with black sails that disappears into the fog. So we cut to about 10 years later, and Elizabeth is a grown woman of substance, and she's getting ready to wear her corset and go blah 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 Britain stuff. Whatever, it's not important.
This is the Bridgerton part of
yeah, exactly.
Pirates of the Caribbean. Yes.
And she goes with her father, who's the governor, I guess, of this colonized island. Port Royal. Is that a real place? Or
Pretty
is this
sure
made
it's
up for the
in
movie?
Jamaica.
Yeah. I was
Okay.
like, that sounds like somewhere you take a cruise to. Like, it just like a nice cruise.
So they're going to this captain's promotion. Commodore, I forget the guy's
Commodore.
name.
Yep.
Commodore, is it Norris? Is that his name?
Irrelevant. Norrington,
Irrelevant.
I think.
Norrington, yeah. So they're going to his promotion, and at his promotion, he's like, "Oh, Elizabeth, I've talk about grooming, right?" He's like, "I've known you since you were 8 years old, and now that I'm 42 and you're 18 years old, I would like to ask you to marry me," right?
Yeah, trash.
Trash.
Basura. Terrible.
But
and also probably really accurate.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
Based on
it's
the time.
definitely accurate for the times, dog. Like they're like he's like, look at that 12-year-old. Like in a couple years, my wife.
Like,
but
8 more years.
8 more.
Terrible.
Yeah. They were like, you are 21 and not married? Oh, like, you are damaged goods.
You cow. You you old maid. She's 19. They like spit at her feet. Like so while this is happening, we get, which, fellas, I think is one of the dopest character introductions of all time. We get Captain Jack Sparrow's introduction. You see him on like the like the crow's nest of you think it's a big ship. It turns out it's like this little dingy boat, and it's taking on water. And he has this really cool introduction where he comes into port, and he's the ship is sinking, and he like reaches port right at like the moment where the ship's about to sink. And for me, I'm like, yo, that's where I think people were like, this is about to be a movie. Like, this is a movie.
Mhm.
That scene is like, okay, we got a movie on our hands. Let me get this popcorn ready. Let me get this soda ready. It's about to be a ride.
Everything before that, I was like, we'll see.
Yeah.
But that scene right there, I was like, here we go.
Here we go.
Here we go. And I gotta say, one thing I appreciate about that, especially now that we've seen many films of Captain Jack Sparrow, the man is a captain, regardless of the setting.
Yeah.
He had that rinky-dink sinking boat, and that man was still as regal as a pirate captain is. Like, he was still to his T, like, yo, I'm a captain of this sinking ship. So I appreciated that.
Like I said, man, I'm one of the greatest character intros of all time.
Mhm.
Indeed.
Mhm.
Indeed.
So Jack gets there, and he's doing his Jack Sparrow stuff, and Elizabeth, she faints because of her tight corset. Oh, my corset's too tight. She falls like 50 feet into the ocean, and she's dead, right, in the movie. But
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah.
That corset must have been like built for Wonder Woman, for the fact that one, she couldn't breathe, and two, she survived that 50-foot drop into a rocky waterbed. Like,
She
wow,
she
that's
died
impressive.
3 times. Like,
Yeah.
one was on land, just standing in the corset. Like, she died like
Facts.
organ failure, like it crushed her. 2 was like the fall into rocky water, and then 3 was like actually just drowning because she hit the bottom, right?
yeah,
Yes,
right?
yes.
Yes.
She did.
It's funny because I think Norton's going to jump in after her, and one of the guys he's like, "No, what are you, stupid? She's lucky she didn't even hit the rocks." He's like, "You'll never make it. Like, we're gonna walk down like human beings down these stairs, and if she's alive, We'll go
Re-
get
Respect to the brother though.
Yeah.
He was actually dumb enough to jump in there. I was like, yo, he might really like her. Yeah, man.
But Captain Sparrow sees this, so he saves Elizabeth, and they're like, "Oh, you saved me!" Blah blah blah. And I guess Norrington notices a mark on Sparrow's hand. He's like, "You." He's like, "Oh, you saved my, Mrs. Swan. You filthy pirate. Go to jail."
Mark. Even before that, the dude, he smelled the funk in him.
He
was looking at him,
did.
and I know that look. That's because I'm a black man in America.
He profiled
I know
the
that
hell
look.
out of him, dog.
He sure did. He sure did. He was like, "You dirty, you foul." He was just looking for something. He was like, I knew you were a pirate.
He basically,
man.
this was like the colonial version of that scene in Boys in the Hood. You think you tough,
Yes, man. I don't care if you saved my prize future bride who I've been grooming for 8 years. I know you're dirty. I can tell you're dirty.
Pirate. So, and apparently at Port Royal, pirates are, public enemy number one. Pirates are not allowed. So Jack takes Elizabeth hostage and he uses that to escape, right? So he escapes and he escapes into Orlando Bloom, who now is a blacksmith in this world. He escapes to where he is his shop, his master's shop. And we start to get a good fight here, the first probably real fight of the movie. But fellas, rewatching this, when Orlando Bloom comes on the scene, I'm like, oh, look at the baby. Look at the little baby. I'm like, yo, this man is 12 years old in this movie.
And I'm pretty sure, I'm sure of a couple of things. One, this is right after Legolas, right? Because we know this because Return of the King
yes.
was a $1 billion movie in 2003. So Orlando Bloom went from Lord of the Rings to Pirates of the Caribbean. And at this point, this is our first sign to see if Orlando Bloom can act. And I'll just say this. We all loved him as Legolas. And then we later found out as he made other movies, he really got one speed.
Yeah. No,
he got one speed.
He definitely does.
Charming, charismatic, but socially distant. You're kind of mysterious. He's supposed to be nerdy in this. The man ain't. He is oozing charisma, being charismatic. The man wasn't nerdy at all, except for maybe the lines.
Yeah.
So yeah, Orlando Bloom got one speed.
In every script that Orlando Bloom gets, it's his character bio. It's skinny, white, and then insert accent, and then he's like, got it. He just goes to work.
Say less.
Say less. So, God. So Orlando Bloom, who I don't know, he's good in this movie, but his character is just such a try-hard. He's like, you're because Jack Sparrow's like, hey man, I don't got no beef with you. I saved Elizabeth Swan. I'm just trying to get out of here. I'll be on my way. Don't want no trouble. He's like, yeah, you're a dirty pirate. I'm gonna turn you in. And he's like, man, come on, dude. I'm just trying to get out of here. He's like, nah, he's very George Zimmerman right here, He's like, I'm gonna take the law into my own hands.
I got no badge, no nothing, but by the virtue of my skin color and who I know, I have
no authority in this situation, but you're going to jail, buddy.
Yeah.
I hate y'all. Hey, but you know what? It kind of makes sense. He is in love with the governor's daughter. Mm-hmm. So he's going to try to be like Mr. Tryhard to impress the governor. Yeah. So it kind of makes sense. Even though the governor's daughter clearly has a thing for pirates, he should have known that. He needed to be the bad boy, but whatever. Yeah. It is what it is.
Yeah. And
just want to say something about a quick line there. Just how Captain Jack Sparrow, just as this was going on, we'll get it up. But anyway, as this was going on, there was just a point where he was like, this bullet isn't meant for you. And And I'm just like, that's when you should just chill out. If anybody ever has a gun at me, like first of all, hey, whatever you need.
Hey man, all right, man. You know
Yeah,
what?
but
I don't even like Elizabeth that much.
Yeah.
It ain't even that
But-
serious.
But the fact that he's got a gun and he's like, look, I'm pointing this gun. This is not meant for you. I think that's the cue that I'd be like, okay, hey, do what you got to do. Like, I'm gonna be about my way. But he still won't leave it
It's
alone.
not that deep.
Yeah.
This man had a gun this entire sword fight. He had a gun and was like, I didn't want to use this on you. I'm like, and you won't. Enjoy. Enjoy.
Oh man. So they have a fight and I'm thinking like it's a decent fight, right? It's a decent sword fight.
It is. Yeah.
It's definitely very like swashbuckling. Like I feel like this is what kids in the 50s and 40s would have loved. When they went to go see those little serials in the old days, this kind of stuff is like, jumping on barrels and kicking them and fighting with swords. It's a really decent fight, but I feel if it was done now, this would have been a lot quicker. I felt like it was a little slow. I don't know. What did y'all think?
You mean like the choreography would have
Yeah,
been
I
a
felt
lot
like the
quicker,
choreography and pacing of the fight was a little slow, and if it was done nowadays, it'd be very John Wickish.
Yeah, but John Wick.
John Wick.
Yeah,
John
yeah.
You know what we want.
Hey.
Come on now.
Oh man, if there was ever like, if you could take a character and put him in a movie, oh my, John Wick in a Pirates of the Caribbean movie, like,
Oh God,
Yeah.
that would be amazing.
Do you know whose dog you killed?
It would be Parrot, but yes, please continue.
Yeah, it was Parrot. Yar, you idiots! You killed the parrot of John Wick.
It be ye Babadook.
He killed a whole bar with a feather pin.
I want to see it so bad now.
A feather pin.
Goodness. Hollywood, if you hear us, let's treat John Wick like Assassin's Creed. I want to see John Wick in different times, in different places. Like, make it happen.
Put
Pretty
John
please,
Wick
it'll
in
be amazing.
everything, dog. Anything that
that'll
you
be
can.
amazing.
Put John Wick in Jurassic Park. Put him put him in the Muppets movie. Like,
Oh God.
so Sparrow's in jail, and so when Elizabeth fell into the water, she was wearing the coin that they found on Will. And so when the coin hits the water, you see kind of like a shock wave go through the water.
It was like Wakanda was about to open. The gate to Wakanda was about to open. Yep.
And so so that night, we see a ship coming to Port Royal and we see pirates attack. And fellas, I'm like, this for me is when the movie truly starts. This pirate attack on Port Royal is kind of badass.
Oh yeah.
So I agree, but there is a particular part for me when I was like, oh, this is real. So it wasn't, all the people breaking into the houses, and I'm sure we'll talk about that, and like Keira Knightley being like smart and savvy and figuring that out. It was when they go into the prison and one of the guys is like, oh, that's Jack Sparrow. And he grabs Jack and the moonlight hits his arm and you see that it's a skeleton.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh, because you look at it now, you can kind of tell it's like so-and-so. But 20 years ago, that looked amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
that
I was
like, really cool.
Oh, wow. This looks really good. So that's to me when I was like, okay, this is gonna be fire.
We could talk about the special effects. I think in the later movies, especially in part 2 and 3, they're really amazing. These they're fine. They're fine for the time. The fact that they're 20 years old, it's like it is what it is. There's sometimes it looks like a PS3 cutscene,
Which
Which
was
this looks
ahead of its
amazing to
time.
me.
No, so I'm just saying, compared to like part 2, like Davy Jones and his crew, that stuff to this day
Yeah.
looks amazing.
But that's some of the best. It won Oscars for special effects. Like those Pirates of the Caribbean 2 and 3 Those are like some of the best things special effects folks have ever done.
Yeah.
But I would say, you know, so taking that out of the picture, like this one, I really appreciated, especially 20 years ago. Sorry, Shannon, what were you gonna say?
No, I was just gonna say, and Jack Sparrow was all of us, because just like, I mean, in the movie, in the movie, like he himself, he was like, that's interesting. Like, I think all of us were like that too, like,
skeleton pirate. But you know what? Before we see that part with the skeleton, I was really into bomb pirate. I don't know if you guys noticed that guy. He was just throwing bombs like in people's windows.
Oh, yes.
I was like, yo, bomb pirate is pretty dope. But,
pretty ruthless.
But you know, the pirates, you know, they're you know, ransacking everything, and they go to Elizabeth's house. And you're like, man, that's like, why are they going to her house? And Hermione's like, they want your governor's daughter. You gotta hide. But apparently they want the coin. You know, they want the coin that she has. They're like, it calls us, puppet. We need it. And she asks for the pirate tradition of parlay when they capture her. So I guess that's pirate for like, I give up. Like, you know, peace be with you. Take me to your leader. And she tells him that her last name is Turner. You know, so they're they're like, ooh, Turner. And you got this gold piece. So they take her back to their ship, to their captain, and it becomes the next day, and Will's like, all right, we gotta go get Elizabeth, come on, let's get a ship. And the Commodore and everyone's like, hey man, like, you know, we got this, you're a blacksmith, you know your role. And so Will's like, F this, I'm gonna go break out Jack Sparrow because he knows about the ship that attacked us last night. So he breaks out Jack Sparrow, and they commandeer a boat. And I was just gonna say,
well, right before then, Mark, just right before then, like as he was breaking Jack out, and he was like, "Yo, I built these bars. I can just do this thing right here, and I'll be able to jimmy you out real quick." Jack was like impressed. He was like, there's something special about this dude. And he's like, who are you? And that's when he finds out that he's Will Turner and that he's Bill's son.
Good point. He's like, your name's Will, named after your dad, no doubt. He's like, yeah. He's like, okay, I'll help you. Mm-hmm. And they go to steal a ship, which they do a cool little scene here. I don't know how scientifically accurate this is, but it's actually a cool little scene where they take a boat and they hold her over their heads and they go underwater, and there's like an air pocket so they can walk on the seafloor. And they
that can't happen. I mean, I'm not a scientist. You know how much weight you have to keep that boat down like that?
It's not like
Orlando Bloom ain't that big, bro.
It is not like it's a boat from like nowadays, like a plastic like that's oak. That's like 1,000-year-old oak. Like,
yeah, it's not gonna happen.
So you know, they get on this ship. They're like, all right, we're taking over this ship, and I guess it's safe to know there's two ships in this port, right? There's like the big, you know, their big battleship, and then there's a smaller one that's I think called the Interceptor. Yeah. And the big one's the strongest one in the Caribbean, and the smaller one is the fastest one in the Caribbean. So they go on the bigger one, and the Commodore and everything, he's like, that dumb pirate. He's like, everyone to the ship. So they reach the ship, they board the ship, and Johnny Depp and Orlando Bloom jump over to the Interceptor. And I'm just gonna say this movie makes it look like it's really easy to get on a pirate ship, and I feel like it's not that easy, dog. I feel like it would take me like a good 10 minutes to like get myself on a ship.
They swinging like Tarzan out here.
They're like climbing up the side of these things. I'm like, it's probably gonna take me all day to get up a ship. You know? Yeah.
I'm like thinking of even when a ship is just parked perfectly on the dock and you got to step from the dock to the ship. Like, I'm afraid that I'm going to fall in that crack between the ship and the dock.
Yep.
That would take me all day just getting over there.
Yeah, seriously.
And so, you know, the soldiers are, you know, search every cabin, find Sparrow and Turner, and Jack and Will jump over to the Interceptor, and they cut all the lines and they start selling off. And apparently somehow they sabotage the other ship. And one of the guys is like, "That's the greatest pirate I've ever seen," or something in that matter. So they go to Tortuga. They make sail for Tortuga, which I think is supposed to be what the ride is. I think Tortuga is supposed to be where the ride takes place. And this is where Jack finds his first mate, Gibbs. You know, the guy who's like, "Don't you be singing about pirates, young lady," you know.
Yeah, he had a rough 8 years, huh?
Dog, Gibbs is on hard time. He's sleeping in a pig pen. Bruh, audience, I don't know if anyone's ever been to a farm. All farms stink and all pigs smell horrible. So the fact that this man is
hold on.
asleep.
No, let me further paint it in. All farms stink, but the stinkiest part of the farm is the pig part. And he's sleeping with him.
He's sleeping with him.
Yeah. And I know our fans out there might be saying, "Oh, well, wouldn't the stinkiest part of the farm be like, you know, where the animals are all like, you know, putting their waste and everything?" Because it's one and the same. Where the pigs are, and where all the waste is at. Yes, they're one and the same. So
it's nasty, man. He nasty. But
yeah, and legit, I want to know the story of what happened these 8 years. Because last we saw him,
you had a steady job. You had a steady job
with a military boat. You went from the first mate of a military boat to sleeping with pigs, bro. What happened? Crack, it's not there's no crack in this universe. Crack ain't got made yet. So what was the downfall? What happened? Anyways, for another day. Another day.
We need an ESPN 30 for 30 on him just to what happened.
I tell you what, man, it's funny. We're talking about Gibbs and all these movies. It's funny. Whenever I watch a movie that takes place before the 1800s, I'm like, oh, the smell. Everyone just must smell horrible. They just must smell awful. And in this movie, everyone's wet, everyone's sweating. You know, it just must smell like funk of the Caribbean. It's just
nasty, and it's humid.
You know, Jack tells Gibbs, he's like, "Oh, you know, I got a plan to get the pearl back, and that, you know, this kid with me, he's the son of Bootstrap Bill, who's Will's dad, and he said we gotta get a crew together." And Gibbs, he's like, yo, Bootstrap, okay, let's go. So they're gonna get a crew together and they're gonna find the Black Pearl, and that's all we know about, you know, the plan right now. But then we cut to the Black Pearl, the actual Black Pearl, where Elizabeth was kidnapped, and this is where we meet Geoffrey Rush. You know, well, we actually meet him when he first was introduced when they first kidnapped Elizabeth, but this is where we find out what's really going on. Geoffrey Rush Barbosa is the captain of the Black Pearl, and he tells Elizabeth to join him for dinner. And this is a big reveal. So, fellas, if you want to jump in here, just tell me what you thought about this.
So this is, at this time, not to, you know, just to take a step back. Before Geoffrey Rush, we had Dustin Hoffman, right? And Dustin Hoffman at the time was the coolest pirate captain I had ever met. And I appreciate Dustin Hoffman and Hook for what it is. But this man, Geoffrey Rush, this is a man.
Yeah.
This is a man's man. This is a real pirates captain. I mean, I appreciated. So, you know, when we meet Geoffrey Rush, he's talking to Elizabeth and he's giving the rules of parlay and using large terms. And then when Elizabeth's like, "You're doing great," he was like, "Yo, hold up."
Yeah.
First of all, you're not a pirate.
He's like, first of all, you're not a pirate, so the rules don't apply, you know?
Yeah. He's like, yo, let me check you. Let me show you that I also know all these big words. Let me show you I got some degree of you know, personality and gentlemanness, but I'm also a dirty, rotten pirate. Get your butt to those chambers and shut your mouth.
She definitely had a Karen moment there. She definitely had to take me to your manager moment. He's like, I am the manager.
Yeah.
Yeah.
a tier above Karen, like the take me to your superior. Take me to your superior. It's like, sit down.
But Barbosa, the two I forget these guys' name, but it's the one guy who's from the British office.
Rosencrantz and Guildenstern. To Mr. Irrelevant. Sorry, my bad.
Yeah. And they tell Elizabeth, the captain wants you to wear this to dinner. And she's like, I won't do it. He's like, yeah, he said he'd say that. He's like, if you don't wear this, then you'll be dining with us and you'll be naked. And she quickly like grabs the dress. She's like, give me that shit.
Smart decision.
Smart decision. He looked a little disappointed.
Yeah, no, they definitely were disappointed.
He did.
It's like, oh damn.
Yeah.
So fellas, I really thought this scene with Barbosa and Elizabeth, the dinner scene, it's really cool. There's a lot of levels to it because Barbosa's like, he's like, don't mind the manners. He's like, eat the food. And Elizabeth's like, she's eating the meat. He's like, hey, try the apples, try the wine. And he's really like into it. He's like, yeah, taste this. And because we come to find out the Pirates of the Black Pearl are cursed, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the moonlight shows them for what they are. They're undead. They can't quench their thirst. They can't quench their lust. And so going back when you know that, and he's into it because he's been with this crew for 10 years. So to see someone like enjoy food is like this kind of weird turn on for him. And I was like, man, that's really dope.
He is going through it. That is like a fiend watching somebody. And like, the cool, like, I don't know who else could have played this role. Cause like, this is one of my favorite parts of this movie. And all it is Jeffrey Rush talking.
Yeah.
Like he is just explaining the plight that the members of the Black Pearl have been dealing with for like the past 8 to 10 years. He's just talking, but and there's no flashbacks or nothing. It's just him talking to Keira Knightley. And it is one of my favorite scenes in the movie. Like it explains everything and I'm so into it. And also just shows how dope Barbosa is in this universe. So yeah. Man.
He explains to her that the coin, why they wanted the coin, it's this Aztec gold that was cursed. And he said once they started trading it, they started losing like the taste and the feel of things. And now they're undead. So they need to gather all the coins back, return them, and they need to also give their blood that they, the people who took the coins have to return the coins and shed blood as they return it. So the fact, this is why they think Elizabeth is important, because Bootstrap Bill, who they think she is his daughter, was part of the crew. But they mutinied against Jack Sparrow, who was the captain of the Black Pearl, and they threw Bootstrap overboard to sink at the bottom of the sea.
Tied him to a cannon. By his bootstraps. That's cold-blooded, bro.
And as far as I understand, he went through with the mutiny. He was just like, yo, that was kind of cold. And they're like, off the plank with it.
Like, shut up, Bill. Bill was like, yo, we shouldn't have done that, y'all. Shut up, Bill.
That. He still like went through with the plan, and they're like, get him out of here.
For speaking your mind when no one asked you. Can we mention just for a second, like how laborious this task is to break the curse? So there were 863 pieces of or 883?
Yeah, it was up there. It was over 800 something.
Yeah. So imagine being like, okay, we're in this part of the world. We're gonna take our boat all the way to this other country to get 3 pieces of gold, and then we might go to this place to get 5 pieces, and here to get 1. Like, my goodness.
And they have to like touch the ocean water for them to. You're just circling around waiting for. It's like GP. You're just waiting for the pin to drop. Oh, there it is. It's over there in Greece. Greece.
Let's go over there. I heard that there's 2 pieces of gold there in Greece. Let's go.
It's like Pokemon Go, dog. It's like
Hey, Mark. Mark, it took them 10 years to get all the pieces. So how long has One Piece been going on for, Mark?
Oh, that 20 years.
20 years? Cool.
Something like that.
All right.
It's worth
Just-
it though. It's
So,
worth it. It kind of is.
10 years. It's a 2-hour movie.
One of the greatest animes of all time. But
I got all my questions answered in 2 hours and 20 minutes. Thank you, Disney.
man, all right. I'm not even. One Piece is a masterpiece. That's all I'm gonna say. So they're having this dinner, and Jeffrey Rush explains the story, and Elizabeth, she runs out and she sees the pirate crew. They're all skeletons, and Jeffrey Rush has. And now I do remember this. I think after I saw the movie, like watching trailers, this was in the trailer when he's like, "You best start believing in ghost stories, Miss Swan. You're in one," and like, pretty great. Pretty great. Jeffrey Rush is the man, dog.
Yes, man.
So, I think this is where we find Jack and them are getting their crew together. And this is where Zoe Saldana appears in the movie. And they're off. They're off to, Jack is kind of vague, but I guess the plan is here. He's going to intercept the Pearl because he knows that Will is Bootstrap's son, so he's going to use that as leverage with Barbossa to get, because they need William's blood to break the curse. So
yeah, and here, so they're going to the Island de la Muerta, I believe it's called.
Yeah,
and here we get to see like a peek around Jack's compass. So like we later on in like the later movies find out that it points to Jack's deepest desires, but before that, in this movie, we just know it's a funky compass that only Jack can really use, and it kind of helps him get to
there's a line drop where it's like they're going, like when Jack gets like locked up, like in prison when you get locked up and they go through everything. They're like one compass that doesn't point north, and that's the only drop of the line. It's just like this broken compass.
So before the sequel, my whole thing was like, this compass doesn't work. This is just Jack's good luck charm. Like he's just like messing with it the way that like someone messes with like a coin or a toothpick or a trinket. Like he's legit crazy and he's just like using it all willy-nilly. So the reveal later on when we find out that it points to his deepest, darkest like desires or whatever, it was pretty dope. But back to this one, we're just like seeing him kind of just casually get them to the direction that they should go. And before this, though, we also were told that like it's bad luck to have a lady on your boat. And Jack's like, "Don't worry about it, we'll be fine." And the next scene, it is pouring down rain. It's like a terrible storm. And they're like, we'll figure out, we'll get there.
Yeah, because Gibbs, he's like, "Captain, it's bad luck to have a woman on board," and he's like, "Nah, dog. I owe Zoe Saldana money. I'm not." He's like, "She coming with us, or it's gonna be trouble for It's gonna be right now. It's my problem, but if we leave her, it's gonna be everybody's problem." So,
Yep.
But they get Elizabeth and Barbossa, and then they get to the island where the gold is, and it's cool. This is one reason why I love production design, right? Because the pirates are bringing the Aztec gold back, but you see like all the treasure that they have collected over the years looking for this gold, and it makes sense because they're like, "Hey, we're looking for this gold. We're undead, but when this curse is lifted, bruh, it's gonna be on. Like we're all about to be Elon Musk when this curse is lifted.
We about to have a ball."
Yeah.
A ball. So they got like, and I appreciate that because when you're cursed, I'm assuming I haven't been cursed before, but when you're cursed, you gotta be looking forward to something. You gotta be looking towards something, right?
In the
This is
future.
8 years. Shannon just explained this ain't a fun, like a holiday trip. This is 880 something gold pieces that you gotta find. Like you gotta be looking for something. So I can appreciate that. I'm sure they teach you that in therapy. Like that's really good. That's really
like
good.
They got smart. They got Roth IRAs. They got their like nest eggs together. They are planning for the future.
Investing in Apple. All
Yeah.
of that.
I see what you did there, Shannon.
So, you know, the pirates get there and Barbossa gives this great speech. He's like, so long we've been cursed and no more this cursed gold, and we have the blood of William Turner. So they cut Elizabeth's hand and they drop the coin in. And I kind of love this because you know in traditional movie and I would think pirates, you know, they're superstitious. You think some music or something would happen, but they're like, did it work? And so Barbossa just takes his gun out and shoots one of the crew. And he's like, wait a minute, I'm still alive. And so he's like, oh, it didn't work. Hey man, you shot me.
He's like, yo, you shot me, yo.
Can we also just mention too, like, the amount of blood needed, at least initially, what we see here? I'm like, it's not so bad. Like, like all I need to do is just cut your hand. It's not like I need to.
It's a sting. You're like, ooh.
Yeah.
You're like,
it's not like Saw or something where it's like, oh yeah, you got to make a choice. Like, give like a pint of your 3 pints of your blood. So it's just like, oh, just a little cut on the hand. Like,
we need a drop.
Not so bad. I'd have helped out for that. I'd have helped out.
Oh, that's it. There you go.
Yeah.
You know, and so they're like, why doesn't the curse work? And Elizabeth reveals that her name is not, you know, Turner. And I think this is when Orlando Bloom and Johnny Depp, you know, Jack and Will, they are going to, you know, they're going to meet the pirates, and Jack's like, look, let me handle this. And Will doesn't trust Jack because, you know, of course he's a pirate. So he knocks Jack out. He's a pirate, and he knocks Jack out. And I kind of forget, does he reveal himself to Barbossa and them?
So no, Will. So like they knock Keira Knightley off, and so Keira Knightley like tumbles over a pile of treasure.
Yeah. And
Orlando Bloom finds her, and she grabs the medallion, and they dip.
Yes,
they dip on the boat.
They dip, but then this is when Johnny Depp is coming out of like his coma that Orlando Bloom just gave him, and all the pirates are like, "What? Like Johnny, like Jack Sparrow, what are you doing here?" Because they left him on an island. They mutinied. They left him on an island with a gun to kill himself, and he didn't do so. And he basically tells them like, "Look, I know about the curse, and I know whose blood you need, and I can get it for you." So they're like, okay, well, show us the way. And so then we get into a chase where William and Elizabeth get back on the Interceptor, and these pirates, dog. They talk about the code, right? When they get off the boat, Jack Sparrow's like, adhere to the code. And so Will and Elizabeth come back to the boat and they're like, what about Jack? He's like, the code, man. He gone. He gone.
The Pirates Code, which also stands for "It is what it is."
It is what it is.
That is the Pirates Code in layman's terms.
Yeah. It's like the exact opposite of the army or whatever, because they're like leave no man behind.
Yeah.
They're like, no, if somebody's left behind, like that's it. Yeah.
That's it. It is what it is.
So, the Elizabeth and Will get back to Interceptor. Like, hey man, Jack fell behind. You know the pirate code. We out. So they start taking off, and Barbossa commands the Black Pearl to chase them. And this is a really cool scene because the Interceptor, they're like, this is the fast ship of the Caribbean. And Zoe Saldana, another Elizabeth's white privilege, she's like, why are they catching up to us? This is the fastest ship in the Caribbean. And Zoe Saldana is like, well, you tell them that when they catch us. Because I don't know what to tell you, because they're catching up to us. And so they're like, all right, look, if we don't need it, get it off the boat. We're trying to build.
Zoe has some other words for her.
Yeah,
that was the director's edit version. Zoe's like, look here, Hudson. We out here for you. We ain't getting no treasure. I lost Jack. This is my boat now.
This is my boat now. Shut up. Shut the hell up.
I might drop you off.
So they're throwing stuff off the boat to make the boat faster, and it's not working. right? The Black Pearl is catching up, so they're like, okay, we got to fight. And they pull a cool move where they drop the anchor and they kind of 180 the boat, and they start loading the cannons with whatever they could find, like forks and knives. And it's a cool little ship battle, man. I don't know what y'all thought. I was like, this is fun, man. This is probably why the movie was so popular. It's just it was like these traditional sword, not like sword and sandals is what people call, like, the Roman movies, but like it's like a traditional sword cannon whatever movie, but it was like it had a lot of energy to it. It had a lot of fun to it.
Right. At this point in the movie, or at this point in my life, this is the best pirate ship battle I ever saw.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And until 20 minutes later.
They had a lot of gags, like they load anything in the cannon and the fork hits the guy in his wooden eye. But basically they get taken over by Black Pearl, and Will's like, look, let the crew go or I'll kill myself. And Barbossa is just like, he's like, I've had a long day. He's like, who are you? He's like, why would I care if you killed yourself, dog? He's like, I'm trying to get this curse lifted. I really had a long day. He's like, I'm Bootstrap Bill's son. And like, it's the private image of old Bootstrap Bill is,
I appreciate Barbossa though, because like what you were saying, like Barbossa was just like, I'm sure there's a reason I gotta ask this guy a question. Like, so I appreciate Barbossa in this, because when Will is saying like, I'm gonna shoot myself, Barbossa's like, all right, I'm sure there's something important about this. He's so over it, but he's like, I'm sure there's a reason I gotta care.
Yo, because like
fine.
Because we kind of skipped over it, but it's established that Barbossa was Jack's first mate, and he led the mutiny. And they don't like each other, man. They have a real like Dwight and Jim relationship. Like, he's like, look, man, I don't F with you, you don't F with me. We gotta work together. So it's like, hey man, my old manager's back. Who are you? Like,
Also, knowing his old manager, like, he always gets me into stuff. Like, here we go. Like, you know what? I'm sure you have a part to play in all of this, because my manager was terrible.
Yeah.
He was a horrible boss. I'm sure you're part of this story as well.
So Will's like, hey, I'm Bootstrap Bill's son. Like, Bootstrap Bill, oh, the curse. So somehow we end up where the crew of the Interceptor is taken alive, and because I guess Will did the parlay, and Jack and Elizabeth are left on the island that Jack was first left on when they mutinied. And I'm not the smartest guy in the room, but if I leave a guy on an island and he escapes that island, I'm not leaving you on the same island, right? Is that?
Yeah, I mean, I know they seem intelligent, Mark, but you must remember there are pirates. Yeah, so like, I don't know. If anything, they probably thought it was a demented way to torture somebody. It's like, yeah, you got out of there last time, but you won't do it again.
Yeah.
So we're gonna leave you the same way with the same conditions.
The same condition.
No way you would do it twice.
It's basically like a video game reset. It's like he had a save point. Like, go back to your save point, Jack, and try again. But they established that in this world, when a pirate's marooned, he's given a gun with one bullet. And the idea is, after days of starvation, you take your own life because you're tired of it. And so Barbossa's like, all right, we're going to send you guys to this island, and we'll give you one bullet. And Jack says, well, shouldn't we have two?
This is a Disney movie, by the way.
This is a Disney movie.
You know what I'm saying? Like, this Disney. Disney was on the front. Disney's on the cover, on the posters. Disney, and they're like, yes, we will talk about a single bullet you will use to have death by suicide. Like, goodness gracious, Disney.
And he says, well, since there's two of us, shouldn't we have two bullets too? Like, well, we figure you be the gentleman and shoot the lady. And then they kick him off the boat. So Jack and Elizabeth are on this island, and Elizabeth's like, "Well, you're famous Jack Sparrow. How'd you get off this island?" And what comes to find out, Jack, he didn't. This is a bootlegger island. He found a stash of rum, and he basically got drunk until the bootleggers came back, and that's how he got off the island.
This sounds like some typical Jack Sparrow stuff. Like, this man, I don't know if he's like super in. I've watched many movies of Captain Jack Sparrow. I've had the same thought in all of them. It's very consistent. He's either a super genius or just the luckiest guy in the universe, or a little bit of both.
It's a little, it's a little bit of both. He is lucky. I think he even drops a line in the movie where Will's like, "This is either madness or brilliance," and Jack's like, he's like, the two kind of co-align a lot more than people think. And then in a later movie, someone's like, "You were telling the truth," and he's like, "Yeah, I do that a lot, but apparently people don't think that I'm telling the truth."
That's true.
It sounded like he was in an absolute win as well. So because he's like, "Look, I'm on the island. I'm just gonna drink, and like I'm gonna drink, and then people are gonna come, and I get saved, like, from getting out of here." So absolute win on his part, I guess.
So he tells Elizabeth, he's like, look, love, all hope is lost. Have some rum with me, and maybe we'll get lucky and we'll get found. So they start drinking, but Elizabeth, because she's wise, she's pulling the old Coyote Ugly move on him, where she spits her shot into her chaser, because Jack is getting drunk, but she's not. And so he's like, "Oh yeah, I'm a captain," and blah blah blah. He's trying to like come on to her, and she's like, "Mr. Sparrow, I'm a woman of substance." He's like, "I'll need more drink before I can entertain such sinful thoughts." And he's like, "Oh yeah, let's drink." So she gets him drunk, and burns everything. She's like, "Oh, they're looking for me." Basically, the whole British Navy in the Caribbean is looking for me. So she lays waste and fire to all this rum and creates a huge bonfire. And I remember this
really smart, by the way.
Really smart.
Really smart.
Actually, really smart. But I remember this being a big laugh because Jack wakes up. He's like, "What's going on?" He's like, "You burnt everything." He's like, "There's no rum left." And she's like, "Yes, they'll find me. That's 1,000-foot high smoke. They're like, give it an hour, give it 2, they'll find us." And he takes out his gun that he's been saving for 10 years for Barbossa. And he's thinking about shooting her with it.
He was really debating it. He's like, "You burned all the liquor? You demon woman." Like, he was thinking it. Oh my goodness. Yeah, man. He was really upset.
Yeah, he was super upset. So, but the plan works.
Yeah.
And Commodore Norton finds them, and once again, "No, Sparrow, you're going to the brig, blah blah blah." And Jack, in his Jack's superpower as a pirate, I think, is like his power of persuasion, right? In all these movies, he has the ability to figure out what people really want and find a way to make it what he really needs,
Yeah.
So he tells Norton, he's like, "Oh, I know where the Black Pearl is, and you, Commodore, the man to take down the legendary Black Pearl, and blah blah blah, and also they have your other ship, the Interceptor, so you could get your other ship back." And so he convinces them to go to the island where Barbossa and crew have Will, where this time they're like, "No, no mistakes. We cut his throat and we spill all his blood."
Yeah. Like, he's half Turner. Just in case we gonna spill
I forgot that
half
line.
the blood.
I forgot that line. He said he's only half Turner. We gotta spill all his blood.
Yep.
Yeah. Back to the earlier piece, I'm like, that part I wouldn't have helped so much with. When I was like, "Oh yeah, you can cut my hand. I give you." They're like, "We got to spill half your blood." No, I'm good. Like, I ain't helping with that part.
Yeah.
So they get there, and Jack convinces Norton. He's like, "Look, you can go in there guns ablazing, but he's like, let me have the pirates come out. So I want to ask you guys a question. So Jack's like, look, Norrington, you stay here. I'll have the pirates come out to you, and then you can shoot them. Now, Norrington doesn't know that they're undead pirates, right?
Yeah.
What do you guys think is going on here? My headcanon, my theory is Jack's plan was to send the pirates out and break the curse, and then they would get killed, right? But Barbossa's like, he's like, gents, take a walk. And because they're undead, they walk on the ocean floor and sneak on the boat. So that delayed the plan. Do you guys think that was the plan, or do you think there was something else at play here?
I actually think Jack wanted everybody to die and for him to sneak away on the Black Pearl with his crew. Like that, because like it didn't, he kind of was like, he told the truth to both of them, which was kind of interesting. So like, I didn't really know what was going to happen, but like, to me, I thought he was just trying to get chaos to ensue.
Yeah.
Because he could just make things work from chaos.
Yeah, I'm sort of aligning with that because I'm like, I feel like that's where he that's where he thrives. I feel like he thrives in chaos. And so it's just like when everything's going everywhere, this person's there, and I'm like, I'm just gonna sort of take the back door here and get the stuff I need. And
well, because here's my thinking, right? He could, take the pearl while chaos is ensuing, but at the end of the day, this undead crew would be after him in the pearl. So that's why I'm like, yo, he wants to somehow he wants the curse to get broken so they become human and they're no longer his problem. You know what I mean? But
they already got that with having Will. They already had Will, so he don't have to worry about that part because they're going to break the curse no matter what.
But the thing is, he convinces them before because this whole thing is like, he's like, wait. Don't break the curse just yet because the British Navy is like right outside waiting for y'all. So he's like, y'all break the curse, you're going to get shot up. You're going to get rickied. You know what I mean? He's like, you're all going to look like Sonny Corleone, if you break the curse. So he convinces them to go out there as immortal undead. But, I mean, irrelevant. So, Barbossa's like, gents, take a walk. And very cool scene. We see the Black Pearl crew walking underneath the water, and the moonlight exposes them as the undead. Like, fellas, I don't know. Like, I think this is an iconic movie scene. Just like super dope.
Yeah, yes. Like, if that was the trailer, if that is the poster of the movie, like that would be the thing. Like, that is visually the most memorable part of the movie for me.
I think this is in the trailer. I think it is in the trailer.
Oh, okay. Well, I watched it in the movie theater, so it must have worked.
So, the Black Pearl pirates, they jump on the ship, and we have this really cool fight between the soldiers and undead skeleton. Just, it's good. It still holds up. We established it's not as like part 2 and 3 are some of the best special effects of all time in movie history, but this still holds up to this day.
Still, very much so. I agree. It's a great fight. Like when I said there was like, a better fight later on, this was a great fight. I mean, even the governor, like Elizabeth's dad, is having like a battle. With like a hand. And it's entertaining, and they keep going back to it. Keep going back to to this governor and this undead hand. So like, there's like comical scenes, but like there's also like some just straight up ruthless scene. Like pirates are like killing them.
Dog, they're like people are getting stabbed with like a capital S. Mm-hmm. It's a pretty cool fight because you have the British Navy. But you have these undead pirates. So they're unloaded on these pirates. They're stabbing them, but, they can't die. And as this is going on, Sparrow is talking to Barbossa, and he's messing with the gold, and Will notices he takes a coin. He steals a coin, and they start fighting. Like he takes the sign from Jack. Him and Jack start fighting all the pirates, and Jack and Barbossa are going at it. Good old, pretty really good sword fight, and
Loved it.
Barbossa's very
Loved it.
good, right?
In between the moonlight, oh man,
Yeah, so
it was
that's
great.
what I was getting to. Barbossa stabs Jack, and like, oh no, he stabbed Jack, but Jack, because he took a coin, is now cursed, and he is now undead. So you have this really cool fight where him and Barbossa are going through the moonlight. So they fight as regular people. They get in the moonlight, and then it's really really well done.
Yes, indeed.
Mhm.
Yes, indeed. So I mean, we'll get there, but like that was really smart for Jack, because like I don't know, I don't even know if at this point he has seen them fight, but like he knew if it was him versus an undead Barbossa, he was gonna lose.
Yep.
And so like we don't really know if Barbossa is just generally better than Jack. Like he clearly can make better inspirational speeches than Jack. I can tell you that for a fact. But like we don't know if he's just generally better. I mean, Jack was captain for a reason, but an undead Barbossa, it's not a thing. So like that was a really smart move on Jack to get the coin in. That battle, I mean, it's not the greatest sword fight ever. It's not even the most epic sword fight ever, but it was entertaining for what it was.
Yeah,
especially
it's inventive,
with the
it's
lighting
fun.
and everything.
Yeah, the fact that the moonlight's like peering through to holes in the skyline, so they're not always undead pirates. They're themselves. It's especially back for 2003. This is really entertaining. I think if the movie
Yeah.
was made today, the whole fight would be them being undead soldiers.
Yeah.
And I was gonna say the whole Jack thing, that's like it's sort of like a little bit of a callback to what he said in like that first fight that he had against Will Turner. Like remember, I think when he pulled the gun out and Will was or it was something, but Will was like, that's not fair. Like I would beat you in a fair fight or whatever. And he was like,
Yeah.
why would I ever want to fight you fair?
Yeah.
Or something like that. So
Duh,
so that's sort of that
pirate.
thing.
Come on. Like,
yeah. So that's sort of that thing. It's like, oh, like straight up fight him, and it's like, why would I want to do it straight up? Like, let me do this little trickery or whatever.
I'm trying to win.
Yeah.
This scene has one of my favorite deaths because good old bomb pirate comes back, and Elizabeth shows up because she's going to go. She frees the pirates who are on the interceptor. She's like, "Come on, we gotta go help them. Come on!" And they're like, we got a ship, and
It is what it is.
It is what it is.
Pirates code.
Yo, because I feel like in any other movie they were like, "Yeah, come on, we gotta help them," but they're like, "It is what it is." and so they basically take the. And this, fellas, I'm not gonna lie. Back in 2003, this shocked me. I was like, "Yo, they're not gonna like come back and help." They were like, "Nope, see you, movie. We're out of here."
Just helps you learn more about pirates.
About pirates.
It's like, yeah, this is what pirates do.
So Elizabeth, she's like, "You bloody pirate!" She goes back to help Will, and I really love this death scene. I thought it was really cool. Her and Will are fighting. 3 pirates and the bomb pirates there. They basically take his bombs, put him in his stomach when he's a skeleton, and then when they push him out of the moonlight, he turns back into a human, and he can't get the bombs out. And so I don't know. I thought it was really cool.
Yeah. There's a whole bunch of cool parts of this fight, but like, yeah, it's like good job, well done.
Yeah. So, but basically, the fight's going on, and even Barbossa says to Jack, he's like, "What are we gonna do, Jack? We're gonna be 2 undead fighting for all eternity till Revelations." And Jack's like, "I don't know, maybe." He's like, "I don't know. I'll try to get my shit back, dog." Like, but Jack gives Will a signal. Will gets the coin, cuts himself, returns the coin, and so does Jack. and they time it well because then Jack takes out his gun that he's been saving for Barbossa, and he shoots Barbossa. Barbossa's like, "Oh, you wasted your bullet for 10 years." He's like, "I didn't waste it, mate." And Barbossa realizes the curse has been broken, and I don't know about y'all, man. I feel like this is when the movie gets existential. Like, these pirates who were undead for like 10 years, you see it on the pictures, like, we're alive. Oh my God, we're alive. Oh, we're going to jail for the rest of our life.
Yes. They're like, oh, I can feel. I'm real. Damn.
Damn.
Like the age-old question. I mean, in this case, it's like, yeah, is it better to be undead and free for the rest of your life, or like alive and imprisoned?
Yeah.
It's like,
I think the movie deserves a lot more credit. It's actually really kind of deep. The whole scene where they break the curse and the pirates are noticing that they're no longer cursed, and they're like, there's this. I feel like all the actors in the scene did great. There's this sense of like, oh my God, the curse is broken. Yeah, we're all going to jail. Like, like
it's like it's subtle joy, because it's like despair disappearing.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like, they're just like, it's finally happened. Damn.
Yeah.
like immediately and abrupt at the same time. Like, it was great.
Like we said, they got their Scrooge McDuck money pit in the cave just across the bay that they've been saving for 10 years. And they were waiting for this moment. Like, like you said, Nels, it was about to be a time. It was about to be a party. But now they're going to go to jail for the rest of their lives. But so basically, the curse is over. They won. Jack is excited. He's excited to get back to the Pearl because he made a deal with Norrington. He'll take the Pearl, blah, blah, blah. And he gets out and he sees that the Pearl is gone. So he is the hero. Him and Will, the hero of the day. But we get back to Port Royal, and Jack is sentenced to be hung. And it sucks for him, but he's about to be hung, and we see the parrot from the interceptor crew show up. So he's like, "Hey, say, maybe an escape." Now, fellas, I just want to tell you one thing. Up until this point, I'm really enjoying this movie. It's disbelief, like, oh, this maybe could happen, but probably wouldn't. But this scene right here, I Will and Jack stop an army with a rope. They're like, they're just like, "No hanging today, British Army," and they just start like, I don't know.
All this is no. I can help you understand this, Mark. All this is your good old 90s trope where the tough guy in the neighborhood, everybody's accusing that this tough guy committed this murder, but he didn't commit this murder. And the only one believes him is this rugged detective who's so intimately aware of the street. And the two of them are on the case and they save the day. But it turns out he has $1 million worth of unpaid parking tickets and they need to turn him in. And all of a sudden, he steals a cop car. And all the cops in the back's like, "What's going on? What's going on?" And the cop is like, well, I guess old Johnny did it again.
He did it again.
That is the rope scene.
Yeah.
That's what the rope scene looks like.
Because also, as you say this, I'm like, can we put this in context as well? It's like yes, it's ridiculous. Like, you stop an army with a rope, but also this was the British Navy and Army who conquered like half the world.
Yes. So
this was,
fellas,
they're the best at
this movie, they don't really give it a date, but I think this movie I read somewhere this movie takes place pretty much like 20 to 30 years before the Revolutionary War. So this is like top tier at its prime British like Army and Navy.
Ain't nobody was messing with the British, bro. They went all the way to Australia.
They're
and took it over.
they're like the aliens from Independence Day, basically, you know? Like, and then Orlando Bloom and Johnny Depp like, oh, let's get away with this rope, you know?
Oiled by a rope.
But you know, so they're like, why, Will? Why would you help and Norrington, right? This is like twice Johnny Depp has like saved his bride to be, right? And he's like, why would you help a filthy pirate? He's like, God, I can't. He can't. He's like, oh, I can't understand it.
Hates pirates.
He hates pirates like Frieza hates Saiyans. He's like,
Yes.
dirty pirate
Yes.
monkeys. Like he's
Yes. Like
Pirates.
people from Boston hating hating black people. Yes. Yes. We've seen it. Yes.
oh, freaking moolies.
Especially if there's progression. Yeah, they can't stand it.
Oh, so you know they're like, you know, this is it, Jack. This is the end of the line, and then he doesn't stop until Elizabeth is like, no, Norrington. He's like, I can't marry you. Not only do I want to help save this pirate, I love Will, and he's simping at the maximum. He's like, oh my God, Elizabeth, fine, let the fugitive go.
That's a broken heart, man. Mm-hmm. He was fiending for this girl that he's twice. He's half her age. She's half his age. He's fiending for a bag, yo. He's going through an entire breakdown before our eyes. This man, he runs one of the most elite military forces the world has ever seen. But his heart was broken. And he was like, I need a break, y'all. I need a day. Let the bastards go. I don't even care anymore.
Yeah, so you know, Jack falls off the same ledge that Elizabeth fell over. He's like, this is the day that you, and he falls down. And they're like, all right, we'll let's go pick him up. But they see the Pearl coming across the cove to pick Jack up. And you know, and there's a line I just thought was really funny where Norrington's like, they're like, all right, sir, we're gonna go get him. We're gonna get Jack Sparrow. He's like, well, we can give him a day, can't we? It's like, nah, dog.
Nah.
Like you run like the whole British Navy in the Caribbean, and you were single-handedly beaten by a guy with a rope. Like your reputation and job is on the line, dog.
Like, nah, bro, that guy's ruthless.
He gotta go.
I know we put up a
today.
little show for Will and Elizabeth, but as soon as we turn this corner, y'all go after that guy.
Sprint. Everyone is in a full sprint.
Chop. Get that man. He's going to jail. I won't go hang him, but he's going to jail.
Yeah. No, like maybe I won't hang him, but someone's going to jail tonight.
Please believe. Oh my goodness.
But Will, you know, this is the end of the movie. Will and Elizabeth embrace because they've always, of course, they loved each other. And Jack's picked up by the Pearl, and he's got his new crew. And you know, the adventure continues. You know, yo ho me hearties, a bottle of rum, yo ho, and so that's the movie.
I gotta ask, like, as the movie ended, like, were y'all a little confused like I was? Because I was like, yo, all Jack saw was the parrot, and nobody in the crew was really helping. They just brought the boat around, like, hey, you know, if he comes through, we'll pick him up. But if not, it is what it is.
Nels, that was the equivalent in rescue terms. That was the equivalent of like bringing paper plates to the party. Like, oh yeah, we were here the whole time, Captain. Like, it's like, but y'all really didn't help me escape. Like, I escaped on my own, and y'all were just here. It's like, oh well, you know, it is what it is.
Yeah,
it is what it is. Pirates rules, bro.
Yeah, where were y'all when I
You know what it is.
Like they went through with the execution. I dropped from the gallows and I only landed on Will's sword. Like I was dead. He's like, hey, but we
Will didn't know y'all were there.
Yeah. And that's one of them things where I'm like, I'm sure the answer would be, "Oh no, we had faith in you. Like we knew you could make it. That's why we were coming this way. We had no worries."
There was no doubt that Captain Jack Sparrow was gonna make it through.
That's wild, Joe. They ain't do a thing, bro. They just turned the corner.
Edit that. But yeah, fellas, that's the movie. So, after 20 years visiting Pirates of the Caribbean, The Curse of the Black Pearl, what do your land lovers think?
So I'll say for me, I loved it because as I was watching it, it was going through that whole thing again. I'm like, oh yeah, I remember the movie was good, but I'm like, I forgot just how good. And now it has me like, I think it held up, and it has me saying I need to go ahead and watch the rest because I think I watched up till movie 3, maybe into 4, but at least I think I watched up to movie 3. And then I don't know what happened. I just sort of fell off and everything. And now I'm thinking I need to go ahead, watch 1, watch 2, watch 3, and so forth. I think if we being real, I think another reason that we sort of, because I was saying my wife is a big fan. I think another reason we sort of fell off because by movie 4, whatever more recent one, the whole Johnny Depp situation was happening in real life, like that situation. So I think we were sort of like, yo, Johnny Depp got some stuff going on. We're not really trying to, support you. So we sort of fell off from watching them.
Hey, Shannon, real quick. I heard at one point, I don't know if it was movie 4 or movie 5, Johnny Depp wasn't even reading the script. He was wearing an earpiece and being fed his lines.
Oh, wow.
Through the earpiece. Like that was the rumor that was going on. Like he wasn't even he's like, I'm not going to read no. And apparently during this movie he was method acting. So even when they cut, this man was still Jack Sparrow. So like, all right, everyone, that's lunch. He said, oh yeah, I like a BLT in love with a Snapple to kettle chips.
Oh my god. Yeah, that's a lot, yo. I can't imagine
that
dealing
is a lot,
with this guy.
Yeah,
24/7.
I'm like, hey man,
this guy.
You can't. Lord. You know what? If you're gonna do that, you can't be around me. Like, like we're gonna go to my trailer and we're gonna play some Madden and have a couple beers. But if you come in here with that Jack Sparrow nonsense, you gotta get out.
Oh, Madden. I only play with the Rams, not the Bucks. I'm not a stereotype. Only the Rams. Like I couldn't.
Oh, that's not fair. Bro. I love you. I love you. Can't be the Patriots. Love. They're too good.
Yeah, I couldn't. Nah, man.
Yeah. Something's wrong. Something's wrong with this controller. Love. Like, nah, man.
Like, yo, John, you gotta go, bro. You gotta go, bro.
Dog.
Yeah. See you tomorrow. We're going to sleep. That's all. All right, Johnny, you gotta go, bro.
Oh,
yeah, that's right.
Yeah, no, it's wild, but yeah, I'm like, I feel like, held up well, still a classic, and now it does have me like, I don't know, is Statute of Limitations is it up? I don't know. Can
it's I up, bro? It's up, Shannon.
I'm like, can I just go ahead now and watch like all the rest of them with a clear conscience? I don't know, maybe.
Shannon, like your thoughts are like almost exactly mine. Like you could just straight up copy and paste. Like I feel the exact same way. And I think that shows the power of this movie. Like this movie was that good that we had signed up and are okay with watching movies that we know are mediocre. We know these movies are mediocre. We're like, you know what? This was so good. I just want to see Captain Jack Sparrow for one more ride.
One more ride.
Just one more ride. That's how good this movie was. So yeah, man, I feel the same way.
Yeah. Shannon, so you haven't seen 4 or 5?
Nah, I'm pretty sure I haven't. Okay. Like I said, I know I remember 2. I think I saw 3. I'm pretty sure I have not seen 4 and 5 because five would have came out super recent, right? Like
Yeah, it was
2019,
like about 5
Yeah.
years ago.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. So maybe 2017, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
In my opinion, 4 is a big nothing burger. Like I just there's no reason to watch 4. 5 has really cool special effects and it's a Barbosa focused plot point. So Barbosa plays a big part in 5. So that's the only reason why I would watch 5. But 4 was just such a nothing burger. But yeah, man, I really dug this movie. I remember when I first watched it. I think Nels, you mentioned like, you know, who was trying to watch Pirates in 2003? Like The Matrix was a thing. So to go from that and like you want me to watch Pirates, but when I saw this movie, I was just hooked. I hooked. I went and bought the DVD, and I was really excited to see 2 and 3. I personally really enjoy 2 and 3. I get the criticism. They get a lot of hate. They get a lot of criticism, and I'm not saying it's wrong, but for me, 2 and 3 are like Michael Bay movies. Like I get it, but I'm here, and I can't turn it off. It's like that South Park episode where Tyler Perry shows up and keeps doing Medea jokes, and Token just keeps giving him money. And like, Token, stop giving Tyler Perry money, or he's not going to leave. He's like, I can't help it. That's how I feel about these pirate movies. Like, I know I need to stop watching them, but if they make another one, I'll probably check it out. But
which I think they are. I think
yeah.
They are.
They're
making another one.
There's another one that's gonna focus on Keira Knightley and Orlando Bloom.
Oh, sign me up. Sign me up. And their kid? Yes.
Because
but yeah, Jack Sparrow's not gonna be in it.
Do you guys care if I spoil something?
Yeah. What, in the movie?
Yeah. Do you care if I spoil something in part? I think it's 5 or 4. No, part 5.
I personally do not, because come on now, it's
right.
been a minute.
So basically, Shannon, do you care?
No, I don't care.
Okay.
Yeah.
So essentially, all the curses of the sea are broken at the end of part 5. So any sea curse that happened is abolished, and so Orlando Bloom gets to return back to Elizabeth at the end of part 5. And the stinger scene of part 5 is Elizabeth and Will in bed, and a shadow appears above their bedroom, and it's Davy Jones' shadow. And then they wake up, and they see little barnacles where they were sleeping. So you get the idea that Davy Jones is coming back at the end of part 5. So I don't know if that's where they're going with 6, but I wanted to ask y'all something. Is this the movie that started stinger scenes? Because this movie had a stinger scene, and then all the other sequels after this have a stinger scene. And Iron Man wasn't until 2008. So did this start stinger scenes?
No. It did not. I wish I remembered like the original stinger scene, but I'm almost certain it was not this one.
Okay.
Like Disney has made some stinger scenes. They're not like Disney, and like, of course, superhero movies are known for stinger scenes. Like, they've done it for like a long time. So I do not think it was this one, but I forgot this one had a stinger scene, to be honest with you. I forgot that the only one I remember there being a stinger scene is 3, because that's when you saw Orlando Bloom like sailing back after, like being captain of the Dutchman.
Yeah.
That's the only one I remember. So yeah.
Well, they all have them. Starting from this first one, the stinger scene in this first one, I'm pretty sure it's when the monkey grabs the gold and shows that he's still undead because he took the gold.
That's pretty good.
But yeah, man, it was a good time. Like you said, Nels, Shannon, this movie kind of just came out of nowhere and surprised the world. No one thought that pirates were going to be cool. But Disney made them cool, man, and they made a lot of money. He made
Yep.
so much money
A lot of money.
off these pirate movies. But it was a good time, man. It was a good time rewatching this. For me, these movies are in the same vibe as when I watch Harry Potter. For some reason, I love to watch these movies and Harry Potter movies where it's like kind of raining outside. It just has a good vibe to it.
You're trying to recreate the blockbuster night there, Mark.
Yes.
That's what you're trying to do. That's what you're trying to do. Completely understand. Yeah, man.
Have some
But
pizza
yeah, it's a lot of
involved.
fun, man.
Yep.
Yeah, that's all I gotta say about that.
All right, y'all. Is that it? Cool. All right. Well, thank you all for listening. We have a new episode every month. You can find us on all social media at Pop Cult Parent, POPCULTPARENT. Visit us at www.popcultparent.com. Email us at popcultparent@gmail.com. Don't forget to rate us, review, and subscribe. And as always, join the cult. Peace.
Yar! Keep your eyes on the sea, land lovers, and remember, dead podcasters tell no tales. Yar!
We out.